the channel. Everyone's having a great day. This is actually my third time recording something like this because I keep filming them and not liking how they turn out. So apologize for the mess around me. I'm still in the process of getting set up here at the new house and all that stuff. So all my gaming stuff is here behind me. So a little bit of a mess, but so I apologize for that. But welcome to another video here on the channel. Hope everyone's having a great day so far. So I'm pretty much filming this around the time I would be editing. So I've already actually got my computer prepared. So once I finish recording this, it'll be straight on the computer and go straight to editing. But today I wanted to talk about kind of some of my favorite mods for my truck. Now I've done videos like this before. I did a must-have mods video. I've done countless other videos on mods in these trucks, right? So today I'm going to be talking about the ones that I think are my favorites. They don't necessarily have to be must-haves, but I think I'm going to pick out some of my favorite mods. I'm going to pick about 2 per category, and by category I mean exterior, interior, and performance. So let's get right into all of those. So we're going to start off with the exterior, and for me, one thing I've always said is how great LED headlights are. Now obviously, of course, you don't want to do it the way that a lot of people do, which is just putting an LED in a reflector housing. It's dangerous, it scatters light, it doesn't give optimal performance. In fact, you're more of an a-hole to everyone around you when you run those. So if you want to do things the right way, get the best lighting performance possible without being a douchebag to everyone in your local area, go retrofit. And I knew I wanted LEDs, and I wanted them, as you guys know, I'm modernizing the truck. The truck's build has always been about modernization, adding modern equipment and modern gear to kind of make the truck more of a modern vehicle. That's why I have CarPlay, backup camera, remote start, push button start, all that stuff to put in the truck. And one of my favorite exterior mods has always been my retrofit headlights. Those are by far one of the best projects, one of the best ones to ever pay off that I've ever done. Me and my dad had no clue how to build custom headlights before. We went into it completely blind. And so we were like, hey, let's give this a shot and see how it goes. And I think it came out pretty good for our first attempt. Sure, things aren't perfect. There's plenty of metal shavings left over from where we carved the projector lens to allow the actual bulbs to go inside, because for whatever reason the H1 bulbs that I was told would fit did not fit in there, so we had to do some modifications there. But they came out fantastic. They're holding up really well. It's been several months since I had those put in, and they're doing fantastic. The next exterior mod that I think I'm going to like is probably going to be the wheels. I don't have a lot done to the exterior. A lot of you guys know that. Minus the headlights, the wheels, and the tinted taillights, I really don't have a lot going on. Minus the LED conversion. So if you guys can consider lowering an exterior modification, I guess you could in that sense, but the wheels by far are one of the biggest game changers my truck has. Those motives, which are 20x10s, I believe. It's a complete square setup all the way around. I believe it's in the -40 offsets, so not great offset whatsoever. Definitely you would want to go with something a little bit more closer to 0, not quite to 0, but getting a little bit closer to there. I'd probably say -20 offset would probably be pretty good for the rears. I unfortunately was under the impression that they would fit perfectly, fit flush, and I didn't get that at all. So it's a little bit of misleading there from the place I got those wheels from, but all in all, though, they were a game changer from the stock 16s that it had before. It used to have a set of those cookie cutter 16s, which were fine, but they didn't really fit what I was going for. And so I was like, I wanted some new wheels. My parents decided to surprise me for graduation and brought me to the wheel store and were like, hey, pick out some wheels. I had 2 in mind, which one was the Motives, which are what are on the truck. And then I had a set of RSR 2-piece wheels picked out, which were really nice, a bit more stancy than what I went with. I went with a pretty good middle ground between stance and not stance, but I don't know which you could really put it there. But the RSRs I looked at were very import stancy kind of looks, and they were fantastic looking wheels. They were gunmetal as well instead of black. I wanted to go with the black wheels for the Motives, obviously. Unfortunately, though, they wanted like $6 grand for those, and they ain't worth that much. But it's just that place makes money off of kind of scamming people in a way. So mine was spending $3 on my Motives, which would never cost that much if you bought them directly from Motive yourself. We really got shafted on those, but all in all, though, it came out fantastic. The wheels look great. I'm still running them to this day, despite how they're always dirty. I'm the same necks and tires on the back, at least, that I've had since the beginning, and all in all, it's probably one of the greatest things you can do to a car, especially if you have 16s like the truck did when I first got it. Like, wheel upgrades are huge. So we're going to move on to the interior. This is actually a pretty hard one because I've got plenty of things I can name. The interior is really where a lot of my mods actually are. There's the full console, which my truck didn't have because mine was an XLS. There's the CarPlay radio. There's the carbon dash kit. There's the seats. And a lot of people are probably going to be like, well, the seats would make sense, right? That's actually not going to be my choice because the seats I got are from eBay, and within a month, one of the bolsters are broken and they're not necessarily comfortable. That's why I'm planning on eventually using the stock seats, having them completely redone in leather with perforated leather on these inserts so I can have heated and cooled seats in the truck, which will be fantastic for daily drivability. And I can probably sell those seats online for a steal and sell the brackets separately. It might take me a while though because I doubt people are going to want them. I could probably also sell them all together, but that'll be a while from now. But my choice for the best interior modification is going to go to the CarPlay radio. Now, I've said ever since I put that radio in, I will never go without CarPlay for long in any car I ever own. Any car that I buy after the Sport Trac or replaces the Sport Trac or whatever will have a CarPlay radio installed if it doesn't have one already, because it's a great thing to have. If you guys have like a radio with CarPlay or Android Auto, if you guys use Android, no judgment there from me. As you guys can tell, I'm a bit of an Apple guy because I've got a Mac, I've got 2 Macs and an iPhone, but you know, Android stuff's good too. But anyway, if you have a car that can have, you know, CarPlay, Android Auto, and all that stuff, it is so worth it. It's a great feature to have, and you get navigation, you get Spotify control, you get phone control over Siri and stuff like that, which is just fantastic because you don't get that kind of stuff in most cars. You know, it's not like most cars have that kind of stuff. Sure, there's Bluetooth calling and Bluetooth stuff, and a lot of cars. My truck's former radio, the MEX N5100, had Bluetooth calling and everything on it. But I really enjoy having CarPlay. It's just a great thing to have. And if you don't have a car that has a radio in it already, install one. It is a life changer. I will guarantee that. Next thing I will say though, a runner-up would be the carbon dash kit. The carbon dash kit just looks so good. I've really enjoyed it. The fit and finish is fantastic. Michael did an excellent job installing it. It just looks great. I'm really happy with how it came out. And if you want a modernized interior, you can also go with different finishes. You can go with the brushed steel, you can go with wood. I went with carbon fiber because it's just, I'm a carbon nut. That's what I like. I love carbon fiber. So that was obviously the choice for me, was carbon fiber. So last but not least, the last category is performance. Now this is actually a pretty hard one as well because I've got lots of performance mods. You guys know the truck's a full bolt-on setup, so it's got intake, tune, exhaust, headers, the whole 9 yards. Right away I will say the intake is definitely not my choice. I've said before, these eBay intakes suck. That's why I made a whole video dedicated to them, and eventually I am going to install a new one that is going to be custom built by me and Michael. So that'll be the proper sizing with heat shielding and everything. Well, he doesn't want me to run a heat shield. I want to run a heat shield. To make sure that everything looks and functions as it should. So I'll stop getting blamed for not having a real cold air intake. So that's in the future as well, but that is definitely not my choice. The intake sucks. It's like the worst performance mod I have by far. I'm not saying intakes in general aren't good. Obviously I just bought the wrong one. But it's really a battle between the exhaust. I'm going to put everything in the one there because the exhaust wouldn't be what it is if it didn't have certain components. The headers allow for more sports car kind of tone. The X-pipe clears up the rasp for the most part. And the mufflers are there to kind of be mufflers. I used to run a Flowmaster 40 on the stock system and it was fine. It sounded alright. I didn't really have too much anything bad to say about it besides the fact it was really quiet. On the new setup though, it is loud and proud and sounds exactly how I wanted it to, for the most part. I was really trying to emulate the 3.8 Genesis, which didn't go well, because that's a very good sounding V6. It's the best sounding V6. Nothing will ever change my mind on that. Anything you will never change my mind on the 3.8 being, 3.8 Genesis, not the Mustang or the Camaro. Those both kind of sound like crap, but Genesis, straight fire. Anyway, I missed the mark horribly on that part, but I think the truck sounds really good for a 4.0. I think when it comes to the 4.0, it's one of the better sounding setups I've heard. Obviously, there's a little bit of bias because it's mine, but the exhaust is fantastic. And the tune. The tune was a game changer. The tune really woke the truck up in so many ways, partially because of the Swiss G93. The 87 tune really didn't change too much. The 93 tune is where I noticed everything. So by far, those two are the two best. It's really hard for me to pick because the exhaust brings you more enjoyment, but the tune is what woke it up and made it quicker than it was when it was stock. So at the end of the day, I think what I'm going to pick is the one that made the bigger impact, and that was the tune. So my Brent Speed tune, which was pretty much just some transmission adjustments, mainly with the shifting profiles for the 1-2 shift as well as the 3-4 shift. The 4-5 shift and 2-3 shifts are the exact same as stock, which is kind of odd, but they said they can't really do much with that. But you know, it turns out that kind of stuff really wakes things up, and it's tuned for 93, so it's got all of the engine and timing stuff ever. But again, it's a mail order tune. It's not perfected. If I took it to a dyno and got it perfected, it would be even better, which is on my radar eventually to do, is to take it to a dyno and have the dyno tuned properly. I would just have to find someone who can tune off SCT, because one of the only shops I know, which is Power Lab, only tunes on HP, and HP tuners won't play ball with me on that truck, so I have to work around it however I can. But yeah, that's my favorite mod for each category. The Retrofit Headlights were a definite winner, but the wheels are a game changer for anything, whether it be a Sport Trac, a Mustang, a Camaro, a Corvette, you know, 370Z, anything and everything. S2000s too. Like, you know, the S2Ks have really good stock wheels, but you know, regardless of that. Interior wise, the radio, the Apple CarPlay radio is a game changer for the interior. I always say, if you can get something with CarPlay or Android Auto, if you have Android, get it, because it is fantastic. And then the Carbon Dash kit as well is like my runner-up for that one. For as far as performance, number one is the tune, because it made the biggest impact. It made the truck faster. It made it a lot more peppy. It feels so much better than it did when it was stock. And then second place would obviously be the exhaust. It's the biggest part of the full bolt-on setup. That's what technically made the truck full bolt-on. So it's already had most of the bolt-ons taken care of, which is pretty much just an ignition coil and an intake on these trucks, because you really can't do much. And then the headers and everything kind of completed that. So all that said, guys, hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more content coming soon on the full bolt-on Sport Trac. I've got a couple issues I've ran into that I'm going to have to work out with it over time. My AC is halfway working, kind of working. I mean, it works enough to kind of function, but it kind of blows warm sometimes. But it blows cold more than it does warm now, which is nice. So I don't know what's up with that. I'll do some more research on that one. And I think the fuel pump's trying to give, because I've noticed it's been pulling power, like it's lean cutting, and it's been having a lot of hard starts lately, so I think the fuel pump's on its way out. But that's all going to be, you know, water under the bridge eventually, because I am probably going to wind up replacing the pump just to be safe around the same time I do the intake. That way I can kind of roll both of those out and see how we're going from there. I wish I could log it with my X4. I might be able to. If you guys know if X4s can log fuel pressure, let me know. But if you like gaming and tech, go check out my other channel, Roast Tires 2. It's in the description as well as in the recommended channels page. Around the time a lot of you guys are watching this video, unless you're watching it like 5 minutes after it went live, there was already another Forza video there. So if you guys like Forza, go check that out. But with all that said, guys, hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Stay safe.